On the cutting edge of anomaly research, you are about to experience The Evidence with your host, 3D pioneer and image analyst with Mars X3D, E.W. Gannett.
Hello, and welcome to episode 121 of The Evidence. This is your buddy Dave over Mars X3D. And you know what? The anomalies are really pouring in from all over the landscape, or the Marsscape, if you will. You know, I'm thinking that perhaps this is part of the slow disclosure process, or maybe it's just insiders at NASA, you know, letting stuff through the sensors, so to speak. But, you know, they're showing us more and more. We're starting to see more clearly things that are close to the cameras, things that haven't been obfuscated or covered with sand or rockified. Now they're still doing that. About, 85%, maybe more, of what we find has been altered in some way. And again, that's why I focus on the non-fractal mathematics. That's all explained in other videos, because they can't hide the math. They can hide the color and the textures and the blurriness, or amount of focus, but they can't hide the mathematics. So here's some good news and some good news. If you have normal 3D vision, you can see in X3D. And there are links down below that teach you how to do this in a couple minutes. And it turns your computer monitor into the world's largest Viewmaster. It's a ton of fun, and there's nothing like standing right on the surface of Mars and seeing the artifacts and anomalies there in full 3D. Hey, we have a new Proud Weirdo First Class, Ian. Welcome aboard, Ian. We're delighted to have you. And for the rest of you who might be interested in supporting this work, you can click the join button, no obligation. We love you regardless, and we're all proud weirdos in one form or another, aren't we? Anyway, I have some cool stuff to look at this week, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's start out today with something found by Arizona researcher Raymond Glassford in 3390. It's there inside the yellow target, and let's go ahead and get in on it. As your eyes follow the arrow, you can see a kind of strange box-like structure embedded in the rock. Let's zoom in on that. There seems to be a framework embedded in the rock. If you look at the edges, it definitely has some extensions and some obvious symmetry to the sides and the thickness and all that. And it does appear to be hollow and kind of scooped out. In fact, it reminds me a little bit of the lower half of a machine where you would put the head gasket. This one from 1033 is a lot more complex, but the same basic idea. It appears to be the bottom half of, in this case, a diesel engine. In the case of Raymond's find, well, who knows, something that might have had some kind of oil sump in it. This is an extensive debris field, but that item inside the green target is what caught my eye. As you look around, you can see all kinds of anomalies. As I said, this is a debris field. But inside the box, you can see a box that has what almost looks like a window frame inside of it. This is amazing to me because I am not aware of any process that will result in what looks like a window pane inside of a cubical box. So, is it a window? Is it a machine? Whatever it is, again, it's not natural. Here's one my Hungarian buddy Laszlo Shabalik picked out just the other day, and as usual, the thing that we're interested in is smack on the edge of the image, which is why we have that weird little yellow arrow pointing at it. Isn't that nice and clean? Look at those sharp 90-degree angles and, of course, that triangular undercut on the left side. But, of course, there's more to look at in this image. Down in the right-hand corner, you know, we're finding so many of these things that have little puckered whistles in the middle of their faces. So I'm calling them whistlers for now because that's what it makes me think of. But you know, we do have a nicely shaped square with rims and 90-degree angles, and right dead in the center, that little whistling pucker. Right above that, we have what appears to be, well, it looks like Boba Fett's helmet. To me, certainly not natural. Very interesting formation, if it is rock. And over here on the left-hand side, we have a partially buried rectangular block, a nice clean one. So this combination of items here makes me believe that this is part of a collapsed building, and that indeed, if we wanted to dig around in this entire area, we'd find a whole lot more. Well, I like this one because this anomaly is just hanging its cheese in the breeze. So easy to see, right up there, top center left. It seems to be made of the ever-popular Martian bluestone, perfectly shaped, perfectly symmetrical, and with two parallel lines running right up the center. It reminds me of some of these others that I've run across. Like this one from Misha Dreszczyk's Star Archives, which Facebook just arbitrarily deleted thousands of images. But there was no citation link on this. I recall that it's, I believe, from an opportunity. But there again, we have the same identical shape. Or how about this one? Another opportunity image back in the left-hand corner. And this time, the parallel lines are running up the side. And they appear to be carved. And of course this one from Curiosity 3387. I mean, look at the absolutely perfect symmetrical shape, the even thickness, and it even appears to have markings across the back, a line up the middle. And as you look around, you can see other things that are anomalous as well. So are these all tombstones? Well, almost certainly not. There's some kind of markers, maybe road markers, maybe memorial markers. I just really can't imagine how they would occur naturally and all match each other so closely. Here's one that Sarah Runcie pointed out just a couple days ago. And as you know, I'm not a big fan of faces or miniature Martians, that type of thing. And it's a definite bias on my part. There may well be faces, there may well be miniature Martians, but I haven't seen any really good evidence yet. And pareidolia is, we're so hardwired to see faces. We're hardwired to see that tiger's face in the bush before it can eat us. We're hardwired to see faces out of chaos. And I think that's usually what's happening. But let's take a closer look. So there you see it inside the box. And the question was asked the other day, if the camera angle was changed by 30 degrees, would the face still be there? Is it just a question of shading and light? Well, I don't know. It's very symmetrical. It really does look like a face. That is quite a mop of hair on top. And there are all kinds of markings in the rocks all around it that could be fossils or could be construed to be carvings, but usually, again, using Occam's razor, if we're seeing this geologically represented across the whole image, chances are it's simply erosion. But let's take a closer look anyway. So there you have it. It really looks like a face, I have to admit. But I'm going to withhold judgment. I'm going to let you decide what this actually is. Here's another offering from Sarah Runcie. And, gosh, I wish we had metrics for the mass camp so we could tell how far away this thing is. It could be 50 feet. It could be 50 yards. We just don't know. But I get the impression that it's a fair distance away and that it's below the ridgeline. So let's take a closer look. So this is pretty clean. It really does look like a pyramid shape anyway. The angles are absolutely even. It appears to be having some kind of beading effect along the right edge and down the center, and there's that keyhole slot that seems to be in the middle. I don't know what that's about, but you take a look at the boulder down in the center front, and that does appear to have carving on it, and then you have that rock to the left of the pyramid that's a kind of a rhombus and a triangle. I mean, it really looks like a shaped block. That round block between them, that could be just a mound or a boulder. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I'm just thinking that this, again, is the remains of a ruined complex of some kind. And let's wrap things up today with a really great find by a new researcher by the name of Pedro Reza. This is from Curiosity 3393, again, one of Nev's GMAX. And this is close in, it's clear, it's easy to see, so let's jump on it. Isn't this great? Now, the first thought is that it's a missile of some kind, and of course the naysayers will say, no, you idiot, it's just a rock. But then you look on the left end, that tangle of wires and machinery and right angles and all of that stuff. And I did lighten this up a bit so you could see into the shadows and see all of those shapes. And about halfway up, you have that disc coming out of right angles to the spine of this thing. And you've got a nicely shaped, almost nose cone on the front. It even appears to have a little hole right at the very tip. In any case, this is a terrific find, and it makes me think that they're leaving more and more things in for us to gradually accustom us to the slow disclosure process. A great find by Pedro Reza. Well, thanks for stopping by today. If you saw something you liked, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. That keeps me listed in the almost incomprehensible YouTube algorithms. And by the way, if you want to obtain your very own signed copy of Martian Archaeology, there's a link down below. Be sure to double-click that bell so that when we have a new video or when we do a live hang or any other special event, you will be notified of it. Of course, that doesn't always work because it's YouTube, right? But for all you proud weirdos out there, you know who you are. Stay safe and stay weird. This is your buddy Dave over at Mars X3D. Be well.